Okay, I hope you had the chance to register. So, hello again. Hello, everyone. Happy Monday and welcome to Cloud Lunch and Learn sessions. My name is Marcus Soldo, and today we will have our last session of this series of sessions related to Power Platform. We have once again Eduardo with us. He's going to talk about the streaming using the Power BI, and he will also give you the demo. And during this session, if you have any questions, feel free to put in the chat, and during the Q&A time, Eduardo will be able to answer to your question. I will now hand over to Eduardo, and I hope you all enjoy. Take care.
Hello, everyone. Good Monday. My name is Eduardo. I'm from Brazil. Okay, and today we'll talk about streaming in Power BI. And let me change my screen over here. Okay, and today is the last presentation in a session called the Power Platform. Okay, and today we talk about getting real-time streaming using Power BI. And how I said, my name is Eduardo Amaral. I'm Modern Workplace Director at the Baymetrics company. I'm Dynamics Communities User Group Leader. I'm me, a Microsoft Innovate Educator Expert. I'm Itaki, Microsoft Technical Audience Contributor. I'm YouTuber in a channel called Eduardo Amaral Power Apps. I will open my camera over here. Okay. I'm a Saturday 365 speaker and Power Women Group mentor. Okay, how I said, I'm from Brazil. I'm so happy to be here, and I hope that you enjoy the presentation. And in this presentation, we'll have a lot of hands-on. Okay. And our agenda will ask a little bit about what's Power BI. I think that everyone over here know what's Power BI. And the second one, we'll talk about the real-time streaming in Power BI. And the next is types of real-time data sets. And the last one is publishing data to data sets. And in this presentation, how I said, we will create two examples, okay, like that. I think that's my presentation will get a full time in this in 1 hour, okay. I think that will pass, I think 5 minutes. I hope that I don't pass 5 minutes, but I will try to don't pass, okay. And what is Power BI? Power BI is a collection. I think that you know what's Power BI, okay? But Power BI is a collection of software, services, apps, and connectors that work together to turn your unrelated. What's mean that? I think that Power BI is the new software that the guys that work with Excel will work in the future, okay? And the present and the future. And everyone that works with Excel have to work with Power BI. And all business have to know Power BI. Okay, with Power BI, we can create a lot of data dashboards and KPIs. Okay, and Power BI we have three tiers. There's the tiers. The first one is visualize, the next one insight, and the last one is data driven. With data driven, we can analyze where my company will go on, okay? And if you don't know what's data driven, I think that's a cool thing that you have to study, okay? And how I said my presentation will talk about the real-time streaming in Power BI, and the real-time streaming is the coolest thing that we can find in Power BI, because with this feature we can get data, for example, in a machine, in a factory, or a weather, or Q&A forms, or a CPU processor, okay? And in my presentation, we'll show how I said I will show two example. One reading my machine stats, and the last one I will create a Q&A forms in Microsoft Forms and get this data in real time. Okay, and to work with real time, we can do in a three types. Okay, the first one is the Power BI REST API that we can use that sending data to push in data set. Okay, the next one, we can use the Azure Stream Analytics, okay, to get a complex event processing. And the last one, we can use the PubNode platform that we can integrate our IoT machines to read the data, okay? And I'm passing these slides fast because we have a lot of hands-on, okay? And I think that you will learn more in the presentation. I'm sorry, in the hands-on. When you push the data in the data set, we have to pay attention in these things, okay? And when we push the data in dataset, we have to put the 75 max columns, okay, 75 max table, 10,000 rows, million rows add, 5 max fading post, 120 post, and all of this data then that I am showing here, you can find over here. Let me show you. If you go in your browser, you can type Power BI streaming, and in this documentation, Power BI documentation Microsoft, we can find all of the example that I will show in this presentation, okay? And this part of this part of my presentation, it's over here that called about the Power BI streaming limitation that's we can find over here. Sorry, we can find over here, okay? And if you read this document, you can create everything that I will show in this presentation. Let's back in my presentation. And the last one, and right now I will create the two examples that I said to you, okay? And let's go. First of all, when we want to create a real-time real-time dashboard in Power BI, first of all, we have to access Power BI. How can I access the Power BI? It's easy. Only type app.powerbi.com. Okay. When you access these, you will have to enter with your login. Okay. And you will get this screen like that. How can I create stream. We'll click in this button over here and new. And the next one, we'll click in the streaming data set, okay? When you click in stream data set, you get three types of push. The first option, we will click over here and click in the next. When I click here, I'm saying that I will use API REST, okay? And click in the next. The next one, what I will do over here, when we push the data in Power BI, we will prepare the Power BI to receive data to an external data, okay? Like that, we'll prepare Power BI over here, REST, to receive the data. And the first thing that we have to do is create a name over here. I will put, for example, Monday. Okay. Power BI. Power BI. And the next one here, I will create my template, my JSON template over here. How I will do that? For example, I will create a CPU reader, for example, how I said when we create a CPU reader, I want a time, date, okay, date. I want, for example, time, okay. And here I can choose the three options. The first one, the text, number, and data type, the date time, okay? That's the type of data. I will choose date time. And the next one, I will use a CPU. That's a number. And memory. Memory is the last one, okay? And it's a number too. If you analyze here, you can see our structure being created, recreating, and like that we have an example over here. And the next thing that we have to do is click in historic data analysis, and the data historic analysis will add my data, okay, in a temporary data set, okay? When you click here, we'll create a temporary data set. And how I said, if you check here, we will get the specification of this data set, okay, in the documentation. And let's come back over here. And the next thing that we have to do is click in create. That's creating, okay? That is my push URL, okay? Right now, address is created to push the data in my data set, okay? Like that, we will copy this and we'll put this data over here, okay? Only to remember. And if we analyze that, we have an example over here, and we have the other type to access my data. And the last one, we can check a PowerShell example. How I said in this example, I will create my my CPU real-time reader, okay? And to use this PowerShell, we have to access this application, okay? And the PowerShell that we will use, like that, I will copy this, and I will find my computer, PowerShell, this app, okay? Windows PowerShell ISE. I will click in the right button and click execute like administrator. I will click in yes, okay? And that is being open. But here I have an example created an example, okay? What I will do, I will create a new script and copy my data over here, okay? And if you check, in this example, we have an endpoint address and payload with this example, okay? The date, time, and CPU and memory. Two types of data with a date time and two types of data with a number, okay? Here, I think that's better now. And the last one, we invoke the REST method using the endpoint over here, okay? And if we click, I will, if we click here, I can invoke this method. When we do that, I get this data and push to this address, REST API address, okay? And the first step is done, okay? The first step is done. Let's create the next step. To get our data, if you see here, we have a data set created. The next step, we have to create the data set, okay? To do this, we'll click in the dashboard, okay? Click in the dashboard. I will put a name to my dashboard, Power BI. And we'll get this screen, okay? Right now, we'll put our data in this screen, okay? How can I do that? First of all, I click in Edit and click in Add Title, okay? When you click here, we can choose where my data is. So, there, our data is in a custom string data, real-time data. We'll click here and click in Next. Where is my data set? I created a CLL Power BI here, and I can click here and click in the next. The next step will create the cards that will show my values. Okay, the first one, we have a lot of types of cards. Okay, the first one is I will click and add, for example, a CPU value. Okay, CPU value, and click in the next one. And I can put the title, subtitle. I don't need, I won't do that, okay? And clicking apply. The next one, what I will do, I will click in titles again and click. I will create these 4 times, okay? We do this 4 times and click here. And for example, put a card with my memory value. Clicking next. Clicking apply. When we create a dashboard over here, I can transform my layout. Only click in the card and move, or we can do this, or we can do this, or like this. I will click here and I will change my theme to be better to see, okay? I think that's better. I will do this. And the next one, I will put my another data. I will put a curve here. click these. And the next visualization type, you will click in line chart. Okay? When you click in line chart, I will put the values, for example, the first one, this is the CPU, and I will say that the windows will show the last minute, okay? The last 1 minute, and click next and apply. When you do this, we have to pay attention in a thing, okay? I will, let me, okay, that's better right now. I will add another one. I will show in this example here. Click and click in the Power BI again, my stream, okay? And clicking the last one's memory. The next is not card, it's a line chart. When you click in the last, for example, 20 minutes or 20 seconds, you have to choose this one, the last 1 minute. Why? If you choose another type display, Windows display, you won't see the data. You have to choose this, the 1 minute, okay? And I will click in apply and put my data over here. Remember that this information will be pushing by my PC, CPU and memory. And how I push the data? I showed that we push the data by a REST API over here, okay? What we will do now, I will click and push the data and push the data again. And let's wait my data showing over here. To be better, what I will do? I will create a while over here, okay, that push the data automatically to me, okay? And to my presentation be easy, or don't type everything over here, I will use this example, okay? This example here is the same one that I use in this one. If you see that, the only thing that change here is the end point, okay? If you see that, is the end point. And here in this example, I do the same. I get the CPU data, okay, with a PowerShell command code, and I read the CPU memory here with Power BI code, and the memory use, and I do another things here, and I get the date, I get the time, and here I will push this data in this variable and invoke method over here, okay? That's a easy code that we can create, and if you want, I can share that in the chat. I will put this code in the chat, okay, right now. If you want to do this example, we can get that in the chat. I will erase the endpoint, okay? Your endpoint. Okay, the code is in chat. if you want to do this after that, okay? And like that, what do you do? I will run this example here. I can click here. If you see that, I created I sleep equal to here. And right now, I am running in a looping my code over here. I have an example here in my workspace that you can see the data being putting or reading in a real time, okay? If you see that, it's the same thing that I created here, okay? The same thing, but that I creating a loop. Okay. Everything happened when we create a real-time example. No, you know that. Okay. That's reading my data. Okay. If I open, for example, Excel over here, you can see the memory been growing. Okay. Right now, my memory is the high memory with 84. And if I open another application like Filmora, for example, for editing, I can see here my memory is growing in 8, 5, 8, 6. Okay, here I put the two data, okay, the CPU and the memory in the same dashboard, the same tiles, okay. I think that's the cool things that we can do. And if you want put, for example, another data set, for example, a machine in IoT, you can put the data here in this panel too, okay? Only click in editing and tiles and choose where your data is, okay? And you can put the web content, the text, the video. We can do this kind of media types, okay? That's the first example that we will create and here, okay? The next one, what I will do, I will create a form, Microsoft form, and I will get the data from Microsoft Forms, use with a Power Automate, and read the data in a Power BI, okay? And like that, I will create Q&A forms in Microsoft Forms. And the next one, I will use Power Automate to get the data to send in a real-time data set, okay? That's easy too. How I will do that? First of all, I will create another data set, okay? We create another data set for streaming here with an API. And we'll create here Can-A Power BI, okay? Can-A Power BI, and here I will put name, The next one I will put age. The next one I will put the gender. And the next one I will put the name, age, gender, age, for example, 18. And here I will put age number, text, gender, ratings, number 2, okay? And here we have our schema created. Next one, I will create, sorry, I will, that's my Power BI, that's me edit, I will put my start and done. Right now, here I have my KNA Power BI data set created, prepared to be used. Okay. What the next thing that we'll do? I will access the forms. For example, I will type here Microsoft Forms. If you never create that, you can use Microsoft. Here, Lex Microsoft Forms, and here you can create your KNA forms or another kind of form. Okay, I will click here. That's in Portuguese. I'm sorry, that's in Portuguese because my office is in Portuguese, but I will try to translate that. Here we will put the form name, KNA Power BI. Okay, I will click in add. And I will choose, for example, the first one, name. I won't put the all question. What's your name? I think that's not. It's not necessary to that right now. No. And the next one, I will choose, for example, text, age. Okay. When we use age, I will force the guy with a restriction, put only numbers. Okay. The next one, I will put the age. The next one is the gender. And when you choose the gender, I will use a choice option. Gender. Female. Okay. Gender, male, female. The last one, I will put, for example, classification. Okay, that's good. Right now, it's created. I can click in share, okay, and copy. And if I come over here, I can type my data here. Okay, use this form. That's great. And here in forms, if you didn't use that, you can click here and you can get iframe to use it in another application, like for example Power BI. And if you do that, you can embed your form in Power BI, and we'll do that right now. Okay, I will click here in copy. Okay, I click in share and click in copy, and I will come over here in my dashboard. And right now, I will create, first of all, I will create a report, okay? I will create a report, and no, I will create a report here. For example, page report. We create a dashboard, for example. Dashboard. I put the name to my dashboard, and Q&A Power BI. Okay, Q&A Power BI, and click in create. Okay, the next one will insert my Q&A here, no? And click in edit tiles. We were clicking here, okay? But right now we will click in the web content. Click in web content. I will click in the next, and we will embed our code that we copied here in forms. Right now I will click here, okay, and copy my data. Look at that. My forms is being shown in, oh my God, I click it wrong. I'll click again here. Next one, click here, and my forms is being shown here, okay? And what I will do, I will click here. I will change a data here. I will put, for example, here. Okay, and I will click in apply. When we do this, I can change, for example, my form size, okay? That's so cool, no? That's so cool. And I said you that we have to push our data to my data set that we created, no? I create a data set, call it Q&A forms. That's my data set. Okay, that's my data set. Right now, I will have to use this data. First of all, I will click in age, click in age. Okay, here's in age. If I come here in my question and answer and type some name over here, for example, Eduardo Amaral, and click here and come over here and update or refresh my data, anything will happen. Why? Because I didn't create my method to push my data to my data set. And like that, I click it here, I sent everything here, but I didn't send my data to the data set. What are better? How can I do that? We'll create a Power Automate process over here. Okay, like that. If you didn't use Power Automate, it's so easy. You can type over here flow.microsoft.com. Flow.microsoft.com. Sorry, my Power Automate is in Portuguese too. Okay, but I will translate that for you. And the first of all, you have to create a flow over here and click in create, a plus button over here, okay? And here you can choose all types of Microsoft Flow process. We'll click in the menu over here and click to ignore. Only to open this page for us, okay? The first of all, I said that we have to take my data from forms, okay? And put my data in Power BI, okay? How can I do that? First of all, I will type forms over here. Okay, Microsoft Forms, click in the first option. And when answer being sending, I will choose this option. I will choose the ID of my forms, okay? And I click here, and that's my form. I will create another step, and we type forms 2. Right now, I have to get the data ID. Here, I know that my form sent data, and right now I will get this data. I will click here, and I will get the data, okay? Click, choose this one option, it's so easy. And here I will choose the form ID and choose the ID answer, okay? Click here and done. The next step, I will send the information to my REST, Power BI REST. It's easy to, how can I do that? Create another step, call it Power BI. I will put Power BI together here. Okay, Power BI. And I will choose add a row in my data set, okay? And I will click here, is the first option. And like that, I will choose my workspace. I have a lot of workspace. I will choose my one, my workspace here, okay? And we get right now the data set. The data set is this one, KNA Power BI. And the next one, I will choose the real-time date time. That is my table name here, okay? That's my table name here. Okay, right now I know my tables field, and I will click here and get my forms answer. For example, the first one is the name, is the last one, the next one is the age, the next one is the gender, is the last one is the rating. Easy like that, easy like that, so easy. Here I'll put my can a flow Power BI, I will put the name here, okay, and click in a save, okay, so easy, easy like that. What I will do now, I will come over here and I will put the other dates as here. For example, the name, I will put the name here. I will put the gender, for example. Oh, I'm sorry, values. Okay. Okay, put the name here. Not name here. I will use this. Okay. Use this value. This value. This value here. I'll put the name. And here I'll put the age. That's great. Okay, that's great. And right now I will type my data here. For example, Clark. Clark, it's a male. It's 4. And click here. When I click here, my flow will run, okay, and send my data to my Power BI. When you use the data here, the data won't update in a real time. Why? Because in a report, the Power BI won't do that. Will that only in a dashboard, okay? In a panel, only in a panel. We'll do that soon, okay? If I click here, let me check if my data is okay. Okay. Okay, I think that's I do something wrong, but it's not this. This is not the correct form. No, this is not the correct form. This is the correct form. I'm using the wrong form. That's the one. Okay. Mail. I have to off this one. Mail and click in send. Right now I'll click here. Oh, are you killing me? Are you killing me? That's here, no? I will type another Mary mail and if I click here, let's wait that. Okay, but like that I will create another type of data here. And let me put the data again. I will delete this and I put name here. Okay, Mary is here. And I put, for example, what's the coolest? Gander here. I can put supply. With supply, I can't put the gander here. Value. Okay. And here I can, for example, insert the rate. Values. Okay, and the last one is, that's good, that's good, that's good. Here we have 3. I think that's the values is, I think that's better right now, no? Look at that. My data here, okay? And with insert my data here in, for example, John. Look at that, so fast, no? That's good. Right now, I will put my data in a dashboard with forms in the same screen, okay? And I created this one. I will click in save. I will resend or report. Let's save it. Done. That's good. That's good. Okay, that's good. I will come back in my CLL Power BI. It's not this one. It's this one. I think that this one. Yes, it's this one. Right now, I will insert my tiles. Okay, tiles. I will put that from my Kenny. Search, for example, age. Okay. Next. Next one. Apply. Okay. is average. The next one, I will insert, for example, my Gen Power BI. I will insert this one. I will a rating. Okay. For example, that's an example. I will create another one. For example, and here to be easy, I created an example that we can use here. Okay, with CLL. I have an example that we can use this one to get the data easy. I think that's because I will do this in more 10 minutes. I think that's not good. I will use this one that I created. Okay, that here we have some names, and here we have a dashboard or a value or charts with some values. Okay, I will click here. Larry, Rita Larry. It's male. It's one here, 45. And when I click here, my data is being put in a real time in my app over here. Okay, I will put this data over here. I think that's I want. Oh my god. I will come back here. Okay, I want to do this. Here I can get the other data. That's good. That's here's the rate. Okay, that's the name of the guys. That's the age average and the gender count. Okay, here I have two people, two males, I have two females and 8 males. Okay, and I can type this again and mark male. I. Okay, that's a real-time data. If you prefer, okay, um, we can get the documentation here. I will put this documentation in the timeline. Okay, timeline on the chat. Okay, you can access the all documentation in the chat address. And Mark, thank you very much. And I hope that you enjoy, all of you enjoy the presentation. And I think that is a great feature that you can use in the Power BI, not only with forms, but you can use that with IoT too, no, and the other features in your company. If you want to access me, you can access by LinkedIn and the YouTube channel. Go in YouTube over there and check the Power BI video and the Power Apps video too. Okay? Thank you very much, Mark.
Thank you, Eduardo. That was a wonderful presentation. Thank you all actually for being today. This is the last session of this Power Apps, and please register if you didn't have a chance. You can use the QR code, or you can use the link in the chat. So it's going to help us out or help you actually out to resolve some real-time problems. Also, I wanted to let you know if you have any questions, feel free to put in the chat, so maybe Eduardo can jump in and try to answer. But we do have, I believe, Sharon's with us. She was also presenting in couple of actually last two sessions, so she can also answer as well if you do have questions. Um, Just in case, if you are interested in something new, we do have actually. Before we finish this session, I want you all to let you know that next week we will have a new session starting. Dwayne is gonna talk about the Azure, and actually is going to go very fundamentally inside of the basic concepts and the services that pertain the cloud services and technologies. So it's going to be next Monday, the same time during the Cloud Lunch and Learn. However, there will be also a chance for you to win the free AZ 900 exam voucher, which is $9. So the link to the session is in the channel. So I'm going to post right now, so you can find it. Just follow up the meetup, and you will find it there. But the second thing I wanted to share with you is this Friday we have the first session about the governance and the automation series. Vukashini will talk about why Azure governance and automation are particularly essential when planning, designing, and operating your cloud environment. So feel free to join us during the Fridays as well. And lastly, I want to really ask you as well for a favor. There is a survey which I will post as well on our chat. So feel free to survey just for us to so we can justify our work here, and we can improve for later on. And lastly, thank you very much, Eduardo. Thank you very much to Sharon as well for delivering this great session. It was already 4 weeks, and I wish to thank everyone that was joining us during this time. Please use the link in the chat to provide the feedback around the sessions as well. If you have any questions or you want to be our next presenter, or you're interested in something new, feel free to join us. You can find us on cloudlunchandlearn.com. And yeah, thank you very much. If Sharon or Eduardo wants to say something for the last, we will then wrap up. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Hi,
very much.
everyone. Yes, I am here. I have been listening, Eduardo. Thank you very much for that session. It was really great.
Thank you, Sharon.
Yeah. I wish you all a great day, and have a lovely day. And this is recorded, so it's gonna be on YouTube. So feel free to jump on YouTube later on. We will upload today probably, so it's gonna be under the name Cloud Lunch and Learn. So feel free to see it again. Thanks a lot, and have a lovely day. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Hope to see